There are over 160,000 auto repair shops in the United States. Most of them are small, few bays, a lift or two, maybe a handful of mechanics. And yet, the industry pulls in over $130 billion a year. That's more than the entire global video game industry. Now, think about what a mechanic actually needs to open a shop: a building, some tools, a lift, maybe $50,000 to $100,000 to get started, which in the business world is almost nothing. So how does an industry built on wrenches and grease outperform some of the biggest entertainment empires on the planet? Because the auto repair business isn't really a repair business. It's one of the most quietly intelligent economic systems ever built. And most people hand it their money every single year without ever realizing how it actually works. Here's the foundation of the whole thing. In most business, the customer chooses when to come back. They liked the restaurant, maybe they return. They liked the hotel, maybe they book again. But a car owner, they have no choice. The average American drives over 13,000 miles per year. Every mile is wear. Every mile is friction, stress on metal and rubber and fluid. And unlike a broken phone or a leaking roof, a car that fails doesn't just inconvenience you, it strands you. It makes you late to work. It puts your family at risk on the highway. That urgency is the engine of this entire industry. The shop doesn't need to convince you to come in. Your car does that for itself. But here's where it gets smarter, because urgency alone would just make it a useful business. What makes it intelligent is how repair shops engineered an entire system around that urgency, layer by layer. Walk into any modern repair shop, and the first thing that happens isn't a repair, it's a scan. That OBD2 port under your dashboard, the one mechanics plug their scanner into, was federally mandated in 1996. Every car sold in America has one, and what it does is translate your car's problems to codes. P0420, P171, P0300. To you, those are meaningless letters and numbers. To a shop, they're a menu. Here's the part most people miss. The diagnostic fee itself is often the highest margin transaction in the entire visit. It takes 10 to 20 minutes. It requires a $300 scanner that's paid off after a few uses, and shops charge anywhere from $80 to $200 for, sometimes more. But more importantly, it gives the shop something invaluable, a list. Not just the problem you came in with, a full picture of everything your car is dealing with. And a good service advisor doesn't just fix the one thing on that list. They prioritize, they sequence, they plant seeds. We fixed your brake pads today. Your rotors are still okay, but you'll want to keep an eye on them. That sentence just scheduled your next visit without you even knowing it. Labor is what you see on the invoice. Parts are where the money hides. Most customers assume that when a shop charges them $180 for a part, that's close to what the shop paid for. It's not. The auto parts supply chain is built on something called keystone pricing, a standard retail markup of roughly 50%. A part that costs the shop $90 wholesale gets billed to you at $180, and that's the floor. On specialty parts, imported components, or anything with low local competition, markups can hit 100, even 200%. Now layer that on top of labor. A job that takes 1 hour gets billed at the shop's hourly rate, often $120 to $180 in most US markets. But the actual mechanic might be paid $25 to $35 of that. The rest covers overhead, tools, insurance, and margin. The real genius of this model is that the customer almost never questions because they can't. You don't know what the shop paid for your alternate. You don't know how long the job actually took. You get a number on a piece of paper and your car needs to move, so you pay it. The information asymmetry is the product. But the smartest thing the auto repair industry ever did had nothing to do with parts or labor. It had to do with time. Because a one-time customer is just a sale. A customer on a calendar is a business. Oil changes every 3,000 miles, tire rotation every 5,000 miles, brake fluid flush every 2 years, coolant service every 30,000 miles, transmission fluid at 60,000 miles. Some of these intervals are based on real engineering data. Some of them, particularly that 3,000-mile oil change recommendation that dominated American car culture for decades, were largely pushed by the oil industry itself, long after modern synthetic oils made it unnecessary. Modern manufacturer recommendations often sit at 7,500 to 10,000 miles. But the 3,000-mile myth kept customers coming back more than twice as often as they needed to. That's not a conspiracy. That's just business. Understanding that a recurring customer is worth 5 times what a one-time customer is worth, and engineering the calendar to make that happen. Now here's where the industry gets even more interesting, because it's not one system, it's two. Independent shops and dealership service centers operate on completely different models, targeting completely different fears. The independent shop sells trust and price. The guy who owns it often works in the bays. He knows your name. He'll call you before doing anything extra. His labor rate is $40 lower than the dealership down the street. The dealership sells authority and fear. Your warranty could be affected. Only factory-trained technicians. Genuine OEM parts. Most of that is legal gray area. In the US, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act actually protects your right to use independent shops without voiding your warranty. But most car owners don't know that, and not knowing that is worth billions of dollars to the dealership service departments. In fact, for most major automakers, the service and parts division generates more profit than new car sales. The car is the acquisition cost, the service bay is the revenue end, and now the whole system is evolving again, because cars are getting smarter, and that's making shops more powerful, not less. Modern vehicles have dozens of control modules. Cameras, sensors, driver assist systems, electronic steering columns. Replacing a side mirror on a 2023 truck might require a calibration procedure that only a shop with $15,000 in specialized equipment can perform. You can't YouTube your way out of that. The more complex cars become, the higher the barrier to entry for DIY repair, and the more dependent drivers become on professional shops. Electric vehicles are adding a new layer. Fewer oil changes, yes, but battery diagnostics, thermal management systems, and software updates are creating an entirely new service revenue stream that independent shops are racing to capture before the dealerships lock it down. The game is changing, but the fundamental logic isn't. Your car will always need someone who understands it better than you do. So the next time you're sitting in a waiting room, watching a service advisor walk towards you with a clipboard, you're not just getting a repair estimate. You're looking at one of the most carefully engineered customer capture systems in American commerce. A system built on urgency you can't ignore, information you don't have, a calendar you didn't design, and a choice that was never really yours to make. The auto repair industry doesn't need advertising. It doesn't need loyalty programs. It just needs your car to keep driving, and it always will.